What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Alex Da Silva podcast. We hope you are well and having an amazing day, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to another episode. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on whatever platform you're listening. Now, let's get on with the show with your host, Alex Da Silva.
What's going on, everyone? I hope you're well. You're having an amazing day. Let's talk about a very important topic: how to cope with stress, anxiety, and panic attacks. Let me know if you've experienced that before. Talk to me about your experience. I know that it's daunting. It's scary, very overwhelming. It brings a lot of fear. Amongst all of that, it causes stress, anxiety, and panic attacks. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks. So I want to share with you, because I've experienced this stuff. I've experienced this throughout my life. And over the years, I learned how to cope with it and overcome it for a lot of the time. So don't get me wrong, like, we all get stressed and a bit anxious. I haven't had panic attacks in years. And that wasn't a major thing for me. But, once you have one, you sort of know how it feels. You can kind of relate. And, especially when, you have some bad ones. So stress, anxiety, that was kind of part of my day-to-day life. That was pretty much part of my day-to-day life. And I still get a little bit stressed, and it's a pretty normal thing for us to experience. But is it something that we should be experiencing all the time? Is it something we should be experiencing all the time? No, absolutely not. We shouldn't. We're not here to be stressed and anxious, and be having panic attacks every single day. That's not what life is about. And it's really important for you to understand and accept that that's not how we should be living. And that's hard for some people, especially when you're living in that life where you are constantly stressed, you're anxious, you're having panic attacks, because that becomes the norm. And for a lot of people, you just accept that that's it, that's how it is. When in fact, it's not. You're not here to suffer in any way. Sure, we're here to have challenges and we'll have these experiences, but a lot of these experiences, including stress, anxiety, and panic attacks, are there to teach us something. They're teachers. And often or not, when you think about what stress, anxiety, and panic attacks are, is loss of control, loss of self-control. And also it means that you're trying to control things instead of just allowing things to flow. When you get into the natural flow of life is it's on a different level. And for you who may be tuning in for the first time and you're new in, before you start getting irate and stressed and anxious, I struggled with that stuff. I was a drug addict. I was an alcoholic for decades, and I used different coping mechanisms. I was put on medication for depression, and because I was always stressed and anxious, and a lot of that was self-inflicted. As I did the work over the years and started to look and understand that it wasn't anything to do with my relationships, it wasn't anything to do with my work, it wasn't anything to do with my bosses, because it's a blame game. When we lose control of self, we blame everything and everyone. And I can only speak for myself. And that was hard to realize, because some people do cause us pain. They do cause us hurt. It does cause us stress. But we are the ones who are allowing these things to happen. And it may be tough for you to sit with that, because why would I allow myself to go through pain? Well, if you have no boundaries, if you don't understand how to look after yourself, if you have no self-care, no self-respect, no self-worth, how on earth are you going to allow yourself to be protected, how are you going to protect the self if you continue allowing other people to betray you and to take the piss out of you and to hurt you, whether that's physically or emotionally or all of it? And it's up to us. You know, we have full control of this stuff. And when you get into self, when you do this work, which I'm going to share with you today, you practice these things every day, you will start to see a massive shift, huge shift in who you are as an individual. Now, here's something I want to share, which some of you may not know. Your mind does not know, your mind, body does not know the difference between stress and anxiety. The chemicals that are released in the brain cannot tell the difference. It doesn't know. It doesn't know, oh, this is stress. Oh, this is anxiety. This is a different, it's all the same. It's exactly the same. Go look it up. It's exactly the same. And it's triggered by fear. By fear. That's what it's triggered by. We get fearful. We become fearful. And what does fear trigger? Fear, the real fear, because that's all that really exists. There's two types of fear. Real fear, which I discussed this before. When something's happening to you, someone's coming at you, or something's happening where you've got to save your life. So you fight, flight, freeze, run, do whatever you need to do in order to protect yourself. That's real fear. And then you have illusional fear, which is created by the mind. It's the mind movie, as I call it. We create this illusion that we can manifest into reality. Starts in the brain. We create this mind movie. We think these things are happening to us when actually they're not. And when you start to, number one thing, when this starts to happen for you, whether it's happening right now, you've gone into the mind movie and you're thinking, this guy's full of crap. He's lying. My life is really bad. Think about it. Because 9 times out of 10, you probably have your headphones on. You may be sat in a coffee shop. You're walking to work. You're doing something else. Whatever it is that you're creating, that you're manifesting, that you're dreaming about right now, other than listening to me, then it's an illusion, because the truth is what's happening to you in this moment. And that's all that exists. Everything else that you're thinking about doesn't exist. It's a manifestation of self. You are creating this in your mind. And if you create it with enough substance, enough power, enough energy, it becomes real. Think about some of the things that you thought about hard enough and long enough that eventually manifested. And they say, be careful what you wish for. And this is why it's so powerful to understand the thinking, the brain, the function of the brain. Stress and anxiety, the brain looks at it as one, not two. The chemical that it sends to you is telling you it's that prehistoric brain that is running away from saber-toothed tigers, running away from dinosaurs, running away from something. It's telling you, run. We need to protect. We need to get to safety. But you might just be at work. Somebody might have cut you up. You're ordering a coffee and it's taking a little bit too long because they might be short-staffed. And that is causing you stress and anxiety. But your brain's thinking, someone's coming to kill you, run. Something's happening. And you're creating this feeling in the mind, in the body. And the worst of it is you don't know how to then release it in a healthy way. So you get stressed, you get anxious for whatever reason that may be for you, and you don't then overcome it by releasing what's happened. And a lot of the times when we really think about it, and if you are honest, truthfully honest with yourself, like to the core, unless it's something where someone's punched you or hit you or have been emotionally abusing you, those things are really painful. I'm going through some really emotional things at the moment, that I'm working through, doing a lot of healing work. And that's caused me some stress and anxiety, which is why I want to do this today. And it's been hard. It's been really hard, emotionally. Things that I have to look at for myself, things that I need to own up to, things that I need to be accountable and responsible for. But that's truth, and truth hurts, because when you can look at yourself with truthful eyes without blaming and seeing things for what they really are, it's really hard. It's really, really hard. And it can be really painful. It's a really painful experience. Yet, if you go through that painful experience, if you sit with it and you just trust the process, it overcomes. You will overcome it. Why? Because you can, you will, you must, you have to. There's no choice. It's just, unless you really enjoy sitting in your own pit of pain, in your own suffering, day in and day out, which I can tell you, no one enjoys that. I don't care who you are, because it sucks. And if you do, I'd love to hear from you, because how is that beneficial to you in any way? And I know with the work that we do with Silver Wellness and our businesses, our charity, we understand pain is not fun, but there is a difference between suffering and going through the truth. They both cause pain. One of them is going to set you free. One of them is going to give you healing. One of them is going to make you the best version of you. The other will keep you in pain, will keep you in suffering, will keep you in stress, will keep you in anxiety and cause panic attacks. And with that, because you don't know how to cope with it, you don't know what to do, you continue living this life with stress and anxiety and panic attacks. And what happens? You numb. You numb through bad foods, processed foods. You numb through binging on TV, trying to switch off. You numb through your mobile phone, consuming content. Often that's not good content either. It's nothing that's actually helping you. It's just numbing. Alcohol, drugs, prescription drugs, sex, porn. The list goes, shopping. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Yet you still haven't dealt with the issue, because if you're still having stress, anxiety, and panic attacks, you haven't got to the root of the problem. You haven't got to the root cause of what's causing that in the first place. And that's one of the things, it's really important here, because we're not going to cover that here because it takes a lot of work. But getting into the root cause of the problem is where you will find healing. So getting to the root cause of the problem is where you will find healing. So you need to go and work with a professional who can help you, a coach, a therapist, a breath worker, whatever it may be. Someone that can help you, that you can trust fully, that will go on this journey with you, that will hold space and help you to connect back with you, to go deep into self, into that shadow, into the work that needs to be done in order for you to then understand what's going on for you and do the work. And when you start to do this stuff, yes, to begin with, and there are layers to this stuff. There are layers. Some people get through the layers quickly. Some people take a little bit longer, but stay with it if you're in your healing journey. Stay with it, because it's so powerful. And the more and more and more you go through this, the return on investment at the other end, it's a thousandfold. It's not, you can't even account for it. It's so much more, so much more. Stress and anxiety becomes a thing where you're like, I'm good, man. I know exactly what to do. But here are the things, let's get to it. Here are the things that you can do that will help you to cope with it whilst you're working with someone on a professional level. So, number one thing, deep breathing. I call it ocean breathing. Box breathing is really good too. And I'll explain these two breaths. Deep breathing. Practicing deep breathing exercises help to calm the nervous system. So this is really important to understand. When you're stressed and you're anxious, you start to tense. Your body starts to tense. Your mind is thinking that something's happening to you, that you're in danger. So if that's the case, you are in danger, run. Go for safety. That's the number one thing. Go for safety. Safety first, always. Then you can start to deep breathe. Don't start deep breathing and finding a calm space if something's happening to you. So get yourself in a comfortable space. Number one thing. Make sure that you feel safe wherever you are. That's really important. Give yourself that time and practice deep breathing exercises. It will calm the nervous system and find a focus point. With that, often when you're breathing through the nose. That's the most important thing. We don't use nose breathing enough. And it's so important. You can use mouth breathing, but for a purpose. When you're doing breath work, there are certain practices that where you utilize the mouth, and it's important because you're using that for a purpose. So it's a purpose. There is a reason why you're using the mouth to breathe. And when you're calming yourself down, you're doing ocean breathing, which I'll explain, or you're doing box breathing, which I'll explain as well. I'll give you exactly how to do it. They're both super simple. Do it through the nose. And the reason you do it through the nose is it just helps you to get into a really nice, calm state. Helps you to relax, helps you to focus. And the more relaxed, the calmer you become, you start to find that place within. And what the body wants to do is to find balance. That's what it needs. It needs to rebalance. And once you rebalance, everything, you come back into the now. You come back into the present moment. You come back into everything that there is, which there is only now, and you allow yourself to start to see things for what it really is. And then through practice, you can differentiate the difference between real fear and created fear, the illusional fear, which is causing you stress, anxiety, and having panic attacks. And you can manage that. You can manage both. But you have to take self-control. So ocean breathing, breathing deep in and out of the nose. If you're in a nice, safe space, you can close your eyes for a minute. Close your eyes and just breathe. And as you're taking these nice, deep, long breaths, 4 or 5 seconds in, 4 or 5 seconds out, just keep repeating that in a really nice, slow loop. So no pauses in between the breaths. And you start to find just this nice loop where there's no pause as you get to the top. There's no pause as you get to the bottom. You keep it really nice and slow and consistent. Excuse me. And what it will remind you of, it will start to remind you of the ocean. And a lot of the times when people practice this breath, they start to, when you're listening to the breath as well, which is really important, find the focal point number one, the nose. The nose is where the breath comes in and out. So focus on that point. There is a little triangle where your nostrils are. So if you have a look at the bottom of your nose, focus on that triangle, on that point where the air comes in and the air comes out. Focus on that point and listen to the breath. Listen to the breath. Really focus on that. And as you're breathing in positive energy. You're really filling the body up with oxygen. And then you're just relaxing. Relax the body as you breathe out. So that's really, really important. Practice that for a few minutes. If you're starting to feel stressed and anxious, I do it on the train. I do it on the move. I do it in the car. You don't have to close your eyes when you're doing this. You can just do it. It's nice, simple. It's a really nice breath that you can do. Just taking nice, deep breaths. Nice deep breaths. Don't worry about what other people think. No one gives a shit. No one cares about what you're doing. They're too consumed in their own stress and anxiety. People are consumed in their own stuff. When you're in stress and anxiety, you often start to worry about what everybody else thinks. There's 8 billion of us on the planet. No one cares. The most important thing is what do you do for yourself? That's it. Put yourself in that position, care about you. Second breath, box breathing. Box breathing again is a really beautiful breath. Again, very simple. You breathe in for 4 seconds, you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, you hold your breath at the bottom for 4 seconds, and you repeat. So you inhale for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, you hold the breath for 4 seconds, and just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just stay in that rhythm, just really nice and slow, controlled breaths. Find what works for you and just practice that for a few minutes. And again, exactly the same thing. Yawning is another form of breath work. And I'm going to share that with you now. I'll give you an extra one. Yawning, people get so paranoid about yawning, and I see people suppressing a yawn all the time. Never, ever, ever suppress a yawn. This is your body telling you that you need oxygen. Your body needs that extra boost of oxygen. Take it. Take that bad boy in. Breathe in through your mouth as much as you possibly can. Just take some nice deep breaths. As you're breathing, just breathe as you're yawning. Take some extra deep breaths in there. Get some extra in. Again, no one cares. No one around you cares. No one cares. Use that. It's a really beautiful way of getting that extra oxygen in. I'm going to start yawning now all the way through. Beautiful work. Let's move away from breathing so we don't keep yawning. But breathing deep breaths is such a beautiful way to help you just to get into that relaxed state, to help you to get focused again. Because as you start to get stressed and anxious, as you go into having a panic attack, these breaths will help you. If you're having a panic attack, you're shallow breathing, that's just going to make things worse. So in time, even if you have to start through the mouth and then move into the nose, you start to relax, because what you're telling your mind, the most powerful machine that you have, is we're okay. We're okay. And you can do that just simply by the way you breathe. Just simply by the way you breathe. This is why breath work, breathing correctly, is the most important thing that you can do. It's so powerful, so powerful. Another one which is really good, really, really good, is mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation, if you don't have a practice, get into one. Get into doing it every single day. Just do, before I started this podcast, I did a 10-minute meditation. Just centered myself, got myself into a really nice place. Just nice and calm, nice and focused. Why? So I can speak clearly. I can give you this message as clearly as I possibly can. I can share with you information. I can add value. And you only do that when you are calm, when you are clear, when you are focused. And mindfulness meditation is really good for that, because during that time, again, focusing on the breath, breathing in through the nose, in and out through the nose. And if you just breathe nice and gently, what you're doing, excuse me, God, we are yawning today. You start to just connect with self, and what you're, without using words, is you're just confirming and reaffirming that everything is okay. one of the really beautiful things that I often teach people and encourage them to practice as well is gratitude. When you're sitting in that mindfulness meditation, be very mindful around your breath. Allow yourself to get into a really nice, calm state, really nice, calm position, and then start to think about things that you're grateful for, but really see them, really feel them, and you will feel so different. You can have like start with two, three things, and then you can have about five things that you can practice, and you can just loop these things. And you will eventually start to see and notice how much more, how many more things that you are grateful for. Practice that because it really increases awareness, allows you to get calm, to get focused. If you do it first thing in the morning when you wake up, I used to do it on a train. I used to get on a train in the morning, first thing in the morning, and I used to just sit on a train and put my headphones in and just play some calm music or play a guided meditation. And I went from guided meditations to just sitting with music to eventually I just sat with a gong, just a timer. You should just set a timer for 10, 15 minutes and just sit with my eyes closed. How many people sleep on a train, especially if you're commuting into, wherever that you commute? If you have like a long commute, half an hour, what are you going to do? Stare at your phone for an hour, consuming bad content that's only going to get you more stressed and anxious. You haven't even got to work and you're already stressed and anxious. Use that time to really focus on you. This is you time. You time. You don't need to worry about what's happening externally. If you're stressed, you're anxious, you're having panic attacks, the last thing you need to be doing is worrying about what's going on in the world. You need to learn how to focus on you. Put that focus on you. That's the number one thing you should be doing right now, is focusing on yourself. So do that. Give yourself that time. Practice that mindfulness meditation. Start to get into some gratitude practice and really use that effectively. Do it every day, without fail. Don't negotiate with yourself, because when you start to negotiate is when you go back into the old. Stop negotiating, and eventually you'll start to see that the mind will listen. Why? Because it's you telling you what to do. It's not like the mind. People say, oh, my mind had a mind of its own. No, it doesn't, because you've lost self-control, because you don't care about you. Your mind's taken over, trying to get you to survive the best that it can. Because it's like, come on, dummy, grab the steering wheel. Do the work that you need to do. Take self-control here so that I can do what I need to do. And when you start to do that, what happens? The mind goes quiet. It doesn't have to overload you with anything. You're regaining self-control. You are taking control of the situation. And do you know what's really interesting? When you take 5 minutes, really write things down for yourself, go through this honesty process, you will realize how much self-control you have around certain things. You're really confident around certain things. But when it comes to you, you're a mess. And that was me. I was an absolute mess. I was successful in business. I can go and do meetings, bond with clients, build relationships. This is when I was doing recruitment, have great relationship with candidates. I was amazing at what I did. When it came to me, I was a mess. Stressed, anxious, depressed, alcoholic, drug addict, sex addict, porn addict. How's that success? But I was deluding myself because I was surrounding myself that thought, some people that thought in the same way. And they were like, yeah, this is rock and roll life. It's not rock and roll. I was going through an experience, and, it served a fantastic purpose. Now it served an amazing purpose because I'm here. I'm able to give this back passionately, and with love to help you, to help you. So let's move on. Grounding techniques. And honestly, I'm just going to share this because I'm laughing. I used to think this stuff was a pile of crap. I used to think this was so hippie. I used to think, oh my God, this is hippie stuff. This stuff doesn't work. Come on. And then I I became very humble, very humble. And the deeper I got into self, the more I started to look at me, the more I started to work on myself, the more I started to reconnect with everything that I am in mind, body, spirit. And I started to realize that I am not this body. I am not this person that I'm experiencing right now. I am so much more than that. And it's a huge revelation. It's eye-opening, it's life-changing. And I hear people using so many different words, and it's incredible because what happened to me or for me is it opened my eyes to who I truly am and what I am. And it gave me confidence, it gave me love, it gave me passion, it gave me so much more energy because I was now tuning into my higher self, into everything that I am. And with that, I wasn't shy, I wasn't scared or fearful of doing the hard work anymore. I run towards it now. As I said, I'm going through some things at the moment and I run towards it. I'm like, let's go. I want to work through this stuff. Let's go through the pain. Let's go through the uncomfortable because it doesn't last. It doesn't last because I understand now that the suffering and the pain that I was causing myself before, that stuff went on for years. And I was having fun in my life, claiming I was having all this fun, and I wasn't having fun. I was obliterating myself with alcohol. And sure, I was dancing on a dance floor and having fun with friends, and I do have some amazing memories. But then I wake up the next day and I feel like I want to kill myself. How's that fun? How's that fun? And I'll do like binges for like 2, 3 days. How's that fun? And then I get to work on Monday morning. I just want to commit suicide. I want to kill myself. I'm so depressed. I'm so anxious. I'm full of anxiety. I don't want to be at work, but I have to perform because if I don't perform, I get the sack. I'm fired. And eventually it got to the top of me that happened in it anyway because I wasn't looking after myself. So grounding techniques, using grounding techniques to bring yourself back to the present moment when you're feeling overwhelmed. Focus on your senses by identifying and describing things you can see, hear, touch, smell, and taste in your environment. And you can see that every single one of these things are linked. Why are they linked? Go outside. Go outside. I often, when I can, I go outside. I haven't been able to do this for a while because, as you guys know, through my quarter recliner journey, I've been learning to walk. So it's been hard to go outside, take my shoes off and walk when your feet don't work. But my feet work now, which is brilliant. So I'm walking loads. And one of the things I'm really looking forward to is taking my shoes off, stepping on the grass, just walking, just grounding, connecting. And I do, even when we take the kids to the park, I still sit on the floor, I put my hands on the floor. Grounding is so important. Connecting with the senses, really connect with yourself. It's so important for you to do that. Trust me, it's not airy fairy. This isn't BS. It's so important because the reason you are suffering, the reason you're experiencing these things is because you are so disconnected. You're not connected with who you are. So you're experiencing these things that are trying to tell you to connect with you again. That's why you're experiencing disconnect. That's why you are stressed. That's why you are anxious. That's why you are having panic attacks because you are not connected with yourself. So grounding, connecting, all of these things are going to help you to just bring you back to the present moment, to bring you back to everything that you are, but also what you are doing in the process. This is the beauty of the stuff that I'm sharing with you, is you start to awaken areas in which you neglected. So you start to connect your senses, you start to see things differently, you start to smell things differently, you start to taste, touch when you connect with people because we are energy. You remember the gut feeling? Do you get that when you go, oh God, I need to trust my gut feeling? I knew something wasn't right. You have the connection. But when you start to connect, you start to ground, you practice these techniques, all you're doing is you're heightening those senses so much more. And as soon as you walk into a room, you're like, oh, something doesn't feel right here. You know, when they say you can cut the atmosphere with a knife, that's because something's happening. And eventually, as you go around a room, you start to realize who it is. And you start to distance yourself from that person. You don't even have to say anything. You just know. And all of a sudden, and if that person approaches you, you set some very strong boundaries, which we'll get to, very strong boundaries. So really connect with who you are, because not only is this going to help you immediately, this helps you in the long term too, because you're here to experience life. And they say experience life to the fullest. And that's so true. And it's not something that's just been given to some. It's all of us. It's all of us. But you have to do the work. You cannot expect things to get better by just sitting and complaining. If you complain and moan and you sit in fear, all of this is low vibrational energy. This is negative talk, which we're going to get to. Negative self-talk. Stop. No. Full stop. Non-negotiable. And I mean this seriously. I tell this to my older kids. I say it to my wife. I say it to family. Stop with the negative self-talk. Absolutely not. Not even as a joke. Not even as a joke. Because again, your brain doesn't know the difference between you joking and being realistic. So either way, stop. Positive self-talk. Challenge negative thoughts and replace them with positive affirmations. Remind yourself that you can handle the situation and that the feelings of anxiety or panic are temporary. You've got this. Everything is okay. The most powerful one that I tell people to use, and I use this myself, is if I'm ever feeling stressed, anxious, or if I was ever having a panic attack, I'm safe, I'm protected, I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm safe, I'm protected, I'm exactly where I need to be. Use the breath. Use the breath. It's so powerful. And use these affirmations, positive affirmations. And when you feel yourself saying, oh, I'm stupid, I'm an idiot, I'm not good enough, change immediately. Not today. I'm strong, I'm healthy, I have self-respect, self-love, whatever it is. I am love, I am respectful, I am kind, I am compassionate, I have confidence. I'm filled with confidence, I'm filled with abundance. Whatever works for you, write some things down, listen to yourself, be mindful, look at every single thing that I'm giving you, how powerful these things are. I'm going to list them down so you have them and you can practice them. Trust me, these things will change your life only when you put the action in. So put the action in for yourself. Positive self-talk is a non-negotiable. Even as a joke, it's a non-negotiable. Stop today, now. Until you build yourself back up, you will always suffer. Until you build yourself back up, you will always suffer. It's your responsibility to build you up. No one else. No one else. No one is going to come and save you. No one. There is not going to be someone that's going to come down from the sky. The Creator isn't coming to save you. Christ isn't coming to save you. Jesus isn't coming to save you. Muhammad ain't coming to save you. Joseph, no one is coming to save you. You are the Savior. You are the Christ consciousness. You are them. You are the same. We are all one. You are the Creator. You are a copy. The Creator created itself infinitely in order to experience who? itself. I went deep there. Let's not go too deep. But that's just the truth. That's just the truth. And some people may realize that. Some people may not. It doesn't matter. It's okay. But number one thing, please, positive self-talk. Treat yourself with kindness. Even if that's something that you never see, that you don't experience, it might not be that for you. But don't disregard everything that I've just said to you. Really connect with everything that you are. And the number one thing, if you take one thing away from this, talk to yourself with kindness. Talk to yourself with love. Treat yourself how you want others to treat you. Because what you're putting out there is what you're getting back. And the more and more you start to connect with who you are, the more and more you start to rebuild. And it's never too late. So long as you have a breath in you, you still have time. So long as you're breathing, you're good to go. Don't ever buy into your own excuses. Again, this is stuff to be mindful of. Making excuses, procrastination. Oh, I've got tomorrow. Tomorrow does not exist. Tomorrow does not exist. And often or not, and I've worked with people that have said this, and I've seen it myself, and I've read about it, I've looked at research. The number one regret that people have is that they didn't live the life that they wanted to. Instead, they lived a life based on everybody else's expectations. Live your life. Live your life, because it's only you. No one's tying you down. No one's forcing you to do anything. If you're in a bad situation, it's within your power to move away from it, to get out of it, to run. Run as fast and as far as you can if you have to. And get the help. Do the work. Because you deserve it. You deserve it. You may not feel it now because other people have made you feel unworthy, but that's on you. And that's hard to take. I had to take that one on the chin and realize that actually that was my fault. I allowed other people to mistreat me. I allowed other people to take from me. I allowed people to, to hurt me, to cause me pain, to cause me suffering. Not today. Today I have that power. If I allow somebody to do something, that's on me. That's on me. I don't hold other people responsible. It's on me. It's on me. So get support. Seek professional support. That's important. I touched on it before. I'm not going to go into it too much, but get the support, because it's so important that you do that. Work with a professional. Work with somebody that can take you on that journey. A coach, a breath worker, a therapist. We do ketamine assisted therapy now, with our business, and that's life-changing stuff. Because some people, they have such severe trauma that verbal therapy, coaching just doesn't work. So the ketamine assisted therapy takes you deep within, takes you deep in, allows you to really start to bring things up, which then the integration work allows you to then talk through these things. And honestly, it's incredible work. And then you use the breath work to continue going through those layers. And these are two things that we do now with our business, Silver Wellness. We do the breath work, we do the ketamine assisted therapy, and it goes deep within. But what it also does is we have an incredible team that will also work with you to integrate the necessary things, creating necessary habits, give you the tools, everything that you need in order for you to keep thriving, to keep shining. And that's important. So important. Limit stimulants. Reduce or eliminate stimulants such as caffeine, nicotine, sugary drinks. Don't get me wrong, I like caffeine. I'm Brazilian, I'm Italian, half and half. So I drink caffeine. I like to kind of mention it because it for some people, it can have a bit of a negative effect on them. So I often say, if it doesn't agree with you, stop drinking it. Stop drinking it. I don't have any effects towards it because I've been drinking it for a little while, and I'm not one of these people like I didn't have a coffee today. I don't sit here twitching, going, "Oh my God, I need a coffee." I don't need that. I'm good. I drink it when I need it. I also drink ceremonial cacao, not the cacao that they package and they try to fool people into saying, "Oh, it's ceremonial." It's not. It's very different. Ceremonial cacao is a great alternative. Opens up the heart center, really helps you to connect. Um, those, yeah, those energy drinks. Honestly, stay away from them. Stay away from that stuff, please. I'm begging you, stay away from that stuff. That stuff, not only is it bad for you, it causes stress, anxiety, and panic attacks because of the stuff that's in them, but also it destroys your gut, destroys your system. Stop drinking that stuff. Number one thing, tune in, tone in. I can't find the right words, so I've got them both wrong. Dial in, that's the one. Dial in your nutrition. Dial in your nutrition. It's so important that you do that. When you dial in your nutrition is also a huge part of the reasons why you are feeling stressed, anxious, depressed, having panic attacks. If you're consuming 70% of the world population now, 75%, 70 to 75% of the global population are obese. 70% of people's nutrition now is garbage, is processed foods. Processed foods. That's alarming. That's alarming. So 75% of the global population is obese, struggling with mental health, stress, anxiety, depression, addictions. Because if you're eating all of that processed food and you're overweight, you're obese, you're addicted to food. It's an addiction. And also, you're suffering off the back of it. So be mindful. Be mindful. Limit that stuff. Cut it out completely if you can. Dial in that nutrition. This is what I always advise people. I was a vegan. I've been vegan veggies for years previously. It didn't work for me. Doesn't work for me. It made me bloated. I got sick off of it, and it wasn't good for me at all. So I switched. I went carnivore, and I did that for a month, just pure carnivore, meat, salt, water, and I just did that for a month. Completely restored my system. My gut healed, no leaky gut, no more farting. People think farting is normal. It's not normal. It's not. If you're farting, that means you're eating things in your gut that's rotting. Whatever you're smelling out, that means that it's rotting in your stomach. And people, typically vegans, sorry guys, if you are a vegan, I have nothing against you, but I did this myself, by the way. It's often, oh, it's the meat that you eat. Trust me, I went carnivore. I didn't fart once. I stopped farting. The bloatedness disappeared. No bloatedness, no joint pains, no inflammation. Gone, 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 completely gone. And I then introduced eggs, raw butter, raw milk, raw honey, fruit. I also like kefir yogurts. I have a bit of a sweet tooth. That's my thing. So I have some kefir yogurt with some fruits, or kefir yogurt with some raw honey, and it's amazing. Like I said, we also have cacao. When we serve cacao, when we make cacao, we make it with raw milk. Why? Because the alternatives, which I used to drink, are full of garbage, full of stuff, single ingredients, single ingredients. That's all you need. You can debate me on this if you like, as long as you like. You are never going to win, because unless you're debating something that's single ingredients, we're not going to find a common ground. And unfortunately, a lot of the foods that are out there, even for people who are vegan, or now they call it plant-based, it's just full of garbage. It's so bad for you, full of toxins, full of things that your body doesn't even know. It's alien. It's alien. And I'm seeing now people that are claiming they're vegan and they're obese. How can you be vegan? That's not healthy. What you're eating is not healthy. So really think about, what's important for you and how you feel. So eliminating stimulants is one of them, and also your nutrition. Whether you are veggie, pescatarian, you are vegan, you eat meat, it does not matter. I don't judge, because I understand today that it's what makes you happy. Listen to your body, connect with everything that you are, do your research. Do your research when it comes to the foods that you're consuming. Understand what you are consuming and what it can do to your body. That's the number one thing. Regular exercise. That's again a non-negotiable. Non-negotiable for me. People say, "Oh, I don't like exercising." Well, continue suffering. That's it. That's it. And I don't mean by going to the gym and, benching 100 kilos or, back squatting 200, deadlifting 300. I don't mean that at all. I mean, get out. People spend, if you're working from home, and I did this, you can easily spend the whole day at home, the whole day at home. And if you're not disciplined, and you're not going to be, if you're suffering right now with stress, anxiety, and panic attack, you're going to be eating garbage. You're going to be eating comfort food. In other words, food that is destroying your body, that is making you more and more addictive to those foods, and your body's craving it more and more and more and more. Which is why single food ingredients is the best. And exercising is another thing. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit creates a healthy self. And everything that I've just shared with you right now, up until this point, is relevant. It's exactly what I do every single day. And I haven't, like I said, other than recently, there's been some things which I'll disclose, in the future, that have happened, things that have come up for me that I'm working through at the moment. I've just dialed in, continue to do the things that I need to do. And you know what's really helped me? My meditation, my breath work, going to the gym. Obviously, I'm also recovering. I'm recovering. I'm rebuilding all my muscles from the quarter recliner. And my body's recovered 100%. I'll be stronger than I've ever been. Everything that I'm doing, sleep, nutrition, exercise, hydration, not drinking that garbage that people sell. Stop drinking that stuff. Drink water. Hydrate yourself properly, and you will start to see a difference. You will start to see a massive difference. I guarantee you. I guarantee it 110%. You treat your body the way you need to treat it. You do the work that you need to do. It's 110%. I'll go even above 100%. Your life will change like that. It takes work. And my wife and I talk about this. This is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted, because it takes work. But once you start to build that self-confidence, you start to build that self-care, you start to build that self-respect, and you know who you are, it's a non-negotiable. You know what you need to do. You know that this is going to be temporary. The pain's temporary. Let's go. I need to work through this stuff because I know I can be even better. I know I'm going to be even better. I know I'm going to be able to help even more people. I know it's going to change my life and the life of the people that are around me. I know that I'm going to start to attract more successful people towards me. Whatever that looks for you, success looks differently for everybody, but whatever it looks like for you, whatever success looks like to you, unless you do the work, you're going to attract a level of maybe financial. And I see it. We have people come to our practice, to our business, people who are millionaires, billionaires, and these people are dead inside. They're bankrupt inside. Success looks differently in various different ways, and you can achieve it all. You can achieve it all by just doing this work, by just applying these simple things. And it's so simple. I've just gone through everything with you, and it's so simple. It's just the fact that is you're undisciplined. You don't have discipline and you're not consistent. And it takes time. And I know that because I do this work every day. And do I want to do it every day? No, but I don't negotiate. It's a non-negotiable. And when I do it, I feel incredible. I feel amazing. I feel thankful that I did. And I go into gratitude. And then I thank myself for doing it. And I positive self-talk. Do you see how all of these things start to work? Everything just falls into place. And it won't fall into place for you because you're not doing it. So it's very easy to criticize. It's going to be very easy to judge the things that I'm saying, to go against what I'm saying, because you're not doing it, or you're not doing it consistently. You don't have the persistency to do it. You're not disciplined enough. But it's okay, because when you continue just keeping it simple, just do it one day at a time. That's all we have. We only have today. And when you wake up, you only have today. It's only now. Only now exists. Never tomorrow. Tomorrow will never come. Never. That's an illusion. That's an illusion. That's one of the greatest illusions ever created. Tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And then you wake up today, which is always the same, always today. You wake up the day, and then you're like, oh, I haven't done it. And then you look back, you take stock, and 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, you know, the day of your last few days, last few moments, your last breath. And then it really sets in. Because when the truth sets in, which it will for all of us, and we then start to go through our life cycle, start to look at the things that we didn't do in life that we could have done, and it starts to kind of set into regret. But here's the beautiful thing: you can come back and do this anytime you want, believe it or not. And you don't believe it now, but you will see it at the end. Doesn't matter when, but you will see it at some point, and you will realize, oh man, he was right. He was right all along. Okay, cool. I can come back and do it again. Let's go. So it's a beauty. Life, this is the thing about life. Life is incredible. When this stuff, like when the penny drops, you don't have to stress. You don't have to be anxious. You don't have to have panic attacks. Life is a breeze. When you get to that level, when you realize it for yourself, life's a breeze. You're creating your life every single moment. So what do you want to create? Create healthy lifestyle habits. That's the next one. Let's go into that. Maintain a healthy lifestyle by prioritizing adequate sleep, nutritious meals, regular hydration. Take care of your physical health, because that can positively impact your well-being. See how I'm tying everything together? Tying everything together. And when you do that for yourself, you start to do these things. Dial in your nutrition, hydrate yourself properly, do daily exercises. Because the more you exercise, the better you're going to feel. And eventually you want to push yourself a little bit more. Then you push yourself a bit more. And the next thing you know, things look very differently. You've lost half a pound, you've lost a stone, you've lost 2 stone. I hear of people who have completely transformed their lives because of doing this stuff. Seen it, my own eyes. It's incredible. And finally, create a relaxation routine. Create a relaxation routine. Establish a relaxation routine that incorporates activities you enjoy, such as reading, music, spending time in nature with your family, going to the movies. Consistently engaging in relaxing activities can help you reduce overall stress levels. Do you see? Can you understand that everything that you do will cause you pleasure, success, fulfillment, unconditional love, and also the opposite: stress, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, fear, addiction, mental health. It's quite simple. And it's all on you. You make the choice. You make the decisions. And no one's going to force you. I'm not going to come down to your house and force you to do this stuff. It's you on you. This is you against you. And as I said, you may not realize it now. You may BS yourself. You may procrastinate. You may deny it. You may argue this point to the death comes out. You may make every excuse on the planet. You can do whatever you like, because it is up to you. But one of the things I say to people, and if you don't know my story, I came from nothing. Nothing. I grew up in Brazil. I came from nothing. And today I have the most incredible life on this planet. I love my life. I love my wife. I love my children. I love my family. I love what I do. I love doing this podcast. I love doing the breath work. I love the businesses that we have and we're creating. It's amazing because I'm a creator. I understand that today. I'm a creator. And that's what I'm here to do. And as soon as the penny dropped for me and I realized what I am, who I am, what I'm capable of, and all I need to do is put the action in, oh, let's go. Let's do this. And it just becomes, you start dial things in, start to dial it in. Soon as you dial everything in, and all of a sudden everything aligns, and you go from feeling, coping with stress and anxiety and depression and panic attacks to all of a sudden going, bloody hell, that's long gone, long gone. And when something comes at you, because challenges happen in life, we're here, we experience challenges because it's all part of our growth. And you start to see that differently as well. You start to realize when things happen for us, they happen for us, not to us. Sometimes there are really sad things that happen. People pass away, tragedies happen. So these are some of the challenges that happen for us that also allows us to grow. What happens when people die? God, we're heartbroken. What does it do immediately? It brings us together. Friendships, people that we haven't seen for years, family, arguments that get repaired. Not always, because some people just, unfortunately, they're not in that place to see it because they're so deep into their, into their low vibration, into the self, into the ego. But a lot of the times that happens, right? And you start to see it more and more and more and more the more you practice this stuff. Practice it, put it into place, and let me know. Let me know how you feel, because I love hearing from you. I love to understand what's going on. And also, how can I help you better? What can I do for you? Is there a topic you want me to talk about? Let me know. Have an amazing day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.
Thanks for listening. And if you want to find out more about how you can overcome issues caused by mental health, go to alexdasilva.co.uk. That's www.alexdasilva.co.uk. See you on the next one. Be great, be fantastic, and be absolutely phenomenal. Take care.